Police motorcycles are built for visibility, gear, and duty, not outright speed. They're heavy, tall, and geared to carry radios, lights, and an officer all day long. But strip the mission away, and the numbers flip fast. Today, we're counting down 12 motorcycles that deliver more acceleration, stronger roll-on, and higher top end than typical US police bikes. Not on paper, but in the real world. From brutal launches to highway passing that feels instant, these machines have the performance headroom police hardware simply isn't built for. Number 12. BMW S1000XR. This bike feels like a rocket, yet still gives comfort for long, real rides. Roll-on in second gear, and the 999cc4 hits hard but stays stable when we lean on it. A USA Police BMW R1250 RTP is listed at 137 miles per hour, and the XR has power and speed to clear that. Do the scheduled service, and the motor earns a reliable, trusted rep with parts and techs that are widespread. Clean, documented riders often sit around 10 to 13,000, and the prices feel honest value. Premium low-mile ones can touch 17. Seat height is around 33 inches, so the fit feels neutral and comfortable even with a tall stance. On the highway, that upright stance feels comfortable, and the quick shifter makes roll-ons feel instant, but it still rides solid if we keep the suspension dialed and tires fresh. One rider shared, "Do I love the bike? Hell yes. Would I buy one if I had the cash? You betcha." The tank is about 5.3 gallons. Economy runs roughly 38 to 45 miles per gallon, giving a solid range for stops. Top speed sits in the mid-150s, and the top speed shove stays savage and smooth at highway pass pace. Only gripe is wind, because screen setup can turn it noisy and tiring after an hour. If this mix works, the next bike is longer and heavier, and it launches like a missile from a stop. Number 11. Kawasaki Ninja ZX14R. Nothing delivers a brutal, smooth, and stable shove like the big Kawasaki when we leave a light clean. The ZX14R hits with massive torque down low, then keeps pulling until the scenery turns blurred. The ZX14R on the highway will outrun a fully loaded Harley-Davidson FLHTP Police Electroglide. And that is power plus gearing, plain and simple. Under the tank sits a 1,441cc inline-4 with a reliable, proven reputation on schedule. Oil changes are simple, valve checks are known, and the motor stays healthy. Parts support is abundant, service info is simple, and even older bikes still get strong aftermarket love. Most riders pay $7,000 to $10,000, a smart value, while collector clean bikes push premium near $18,000. Seat height is about 31.5 inches for comfort. The tank holds around 5.8 gallons for practical range, and miles per gallon sits in the low 30s to high 30s. Top speed is commonly quoted around 186 miles per hour, which makes that police benchmark feel smaller and limiting. One warning, it is heavier at parking lot pace, so tight turns can feel awkward and clumsy. Next up is lighter, sharper, and more agile, with a different kind of hit that wakes you up fast today. If you have ever felt a bike pull harder than your brain expected, tap likes, because that feeling is addictive. Number 10. Triumph Speed Triple 1200 RS. Instead of brute bulk, this Triumph serves quick, sharp, and confident speed with a grin you can feel. The 1,160cc Triple has a torquey punch, and the gearbox feels crisp and usable in daily traffic. Roll on in third, and it leaves a Road King Police feeling heavy and sleepy because the Triumph gathers speed now. Keep the basics tight, and reliability stays solid and dependable, with a service rhythm that is simple to plan. And the owner community is abundant, part supply is strong, and common fixes are well known, so surprises stay rarer. Most clean, cared-for examples land around $11,000 to $14,000, a smart value band, while mint low-mile bikes push premium near $16,000 plus. One rider said, "Overall, I'm very happy with my choice. It's brilliant to ride, very fast, great looking, good quality, and comfortable enough." Seat height is about 32.5 inches, a comfort sweet spot, and the reach to the bars feels natural. Tank capacity is around 4.1 gallons, miles per gallon runs mid-30s to mid-40s, and range stays practical and relaxed. Top speed sits around 160 miles per hour, so that police ceiling feels lower and limiting, and the pull feels savage. But the trade-off is that wind protection is minimal, so long interstate minutes can get louder and tiring without a screen. Still, through sweepers, it feels planted precise, and helping like the chassis is reading your thoughts. Next, we go full Italian, with supercar surge and electronics that turn passing into teleporting. Number 9. Ducati Panigale V4S. Picture a supercar surge, then add a bike that feels violent, precise, and unreal once it is moving. The Ducati Panigale V4 on the highway will outrun a BMW R1250 RTP. That police BMW is listed at 137 miles per hour, and the Panigale has power and aerodynamic above it. The 1,103cc V4 spins swift, and acceleration stays shocking in every gear. Electronics help with traction and wheelie control, plus ABS that keeps it usable and controlled when our right hand gets excited. Ownership stays healthy with disciplined service, because fluids and heat checks matter on a bike built for speed. Clean used examples often sit around $20,000 to $25,000, a smart value, while premium condition bikes climb past $30,000 with extras. Seat height is about 33 inches. Tank capacity is around 4.5 gallons, and miles per gallon runs high 20s to high 30s, so range is limited. Top speed is often quoted around 186 miles per hour, so police pace feels smaller and limiting when the road opens. The downside is ergonomics feel tighter, and slow traffic can run hotter and more annoying. Next, we keep the punchy vibe, but add practical posture and more comfort for the long haul. Likes and subscribe if you want legit speed without regrets, and comment which one you trust for weekends. Number 8. KTM 1290 Super Duke GT. Now we trade clip-ons for comfort, but keep a motor that punches harder than you expect. The 1290 Super Duke GT uses a 1,301cc V-twin, and the torque hit feels rowdy and immediate. Fully loaded police bikes are heavy, and this stays lively and quick because less gear means more acceleration. Even loaded with bags, it stays stable and comfortable at speed on highways. On real roads, that matters since passing feels simple and controlled in one roll-on. Reliability gets better with discipline because coolant, valve checks, and chain care keep heat down. Part support is abundant, the aftermarket is strong, and owners share fixes that keep maintenance practical. Good used years sit around $10,000 to $13,000, a smart value, while premium low-mile examples reach $15,000 to $17,000. Seat height is about 32.9 inches, tank capacity is around 6.1 gallons, and miles per gallon runs mid-30s to mid-40s for solid, consistent range. Top speed sits around 160 miles per hour, but the mid-range shove feels savage and shocking. The trade-off is that the character is intense, so if we ride tense, it can feel tiring late in the day. Set it up right, and the ride feels stable, comfortable, and ready for long miles without wrist pain. Next up is an older school missile with silky top end and large miles energy. Number 7. BMW K 1300S. Big sport touring power can feel comfortable, stable, and planted, and that is exactly why this BMW works. Crack the throttle in third, and the roll-on is smooth and strong, and the RTP suddenly feels heavier than it looks. This is the kind of machine that cruises at 80 with peaceful manners, then surprises you with passing punch like it saw lights in the mirror. You get a 1,293cc inline 4 that likes speed, yet stays mannered when we ride it smart. Fact 1. Shaft drive is practical and simple for long trips. No chain spray, no roadside fiddling. Fact 2. The long-haul reputation is solid when the cooling system, final drive fluid, and service schedule stay current, plus support is widespread. Most clean riders land around 5,000 to 8,000, while premium, low-mile examples can reach 10 to 12. Seat height is about 32 inches, the tank is about 5 gallons, and fuel economy usually sits in the mid-30s to low 40s miles per gallon. Top speed is often quoted around 170 miles per hour, so it has headroom above police hardware. The trade-off is weight, and parking lot turns can feel clumsy and awkward if we are tense. If you like the stable mile-eater vibe, the next bike drops the touring polish and hits more uncut with a harder punch. Number 6. Aprilia Tuono V4 Factory. Snap the throttle and the response is savage, precise, and instant, like the bike read your mind before your wrist finished moving. On a roll, that surge can make police Harleys feel sluggish and softer because they are fully loaded and built for duty, not drag races. The engine is a 1077cc V4, and it builds power with a sharp upper kick that feels supercar quick. Fact 1. Modern electronics keep it usable. Traction control, wheelie control, and a quick shifter help us stay controlled when the road is sketchy. Fact 2. Ownership stays reliable only when we respect the routine, healthy battery habits, clean connections, and service done on time. Most clean examples usually run 9 to 12,000, while premium, low-mile bikes can push 15 and up. Parts support is better than it used to be, but having a solid shop keeps ownership simple today. Seat height is about 33 inches, tank capacity is about 5 gallons, and fuel economy tends to live around 30 to 38 miles per gallon. In traffic, the heat can feel brutal, and the fuel thirst can feel annoying, so range planning matters. Next up is another naked animal, but it turns the torque knob to absurd and feels brutal down low everywhere. If speed matters, but you still want reliable ownership, tap like and subscribe and tell us your best highway pull story. Number 5. KTM 1290 Super Duke R. Twist your wrist, and this machine hits with absurd brutal, pure torque, first punch, then keeps pulling like it wants to fold time. From a light, it jumps so hard that a police bike feels delayed and heavier, especially when the officer is fully loaded with gear and radios. The heart is a 1,301 cubic centimeter V-twin, and the mid-range shove feels unreal without needing huge RPM. Fact 1. Owner support is strong, and common fixes are well known, so we are rarely alone when something acts up. Fact 2. Reliability is solid when service is disciplined, valves checked, coolant fresh, and fueling kept clean. Clean used examples often sit around 9 to 12,000, while premium, low-mile bikes can reach 14, and wild builds are a gamble. Seat height is about 33 inches, tank capacity is about 5 gallons, and fuel economy usually lands in the low 30s to low 40s miles per gallon. Top speed runs around 160 miles per hour, but the actual thrill is unreal torque at 60 everywhere. At highway pace, the wind blast can feel fatiguing and loud, so some riders add a small screen for sanity on trips. Still, the steering stays sharp, and the chassis feels stable when we stay relaxed. If this torque hit made you grin, the next bike brings clean power and civil manners, with German polish and less drama. Number 4. BMW S1000R. Some bikes feel swift, but this one feels confident, refined, and ready to run hard without beating us up. The 1000cc inline 4 gives superbike punch with more upright comfort, so we can ride all day and still feel human. When we pass, the pull walks away from the RTP 137 miles per hour ceiling, and it does it with stable composure. Fact 1. Parts availability is abundant and the dealer network is widespread, so fixing wear items stays simple. Fact 2. The reliability reputation is solid and consistent when service is on schedule, and the motor is not left to bake in old oil. Older bargain bikes can sit around 7 to 10,000, while newer spec examples often land 12 to 16 with clean records. Engine size is 999cc, seat height is about 33 inches, and the tank holds about 4.5 gallons. Fuel economy usually sits in the mid-30s to mid-40s miles per gallon, which keeps the range decent for a muscle car. Top speed is quoted around 165 miles per hour, so it has headroom for clean exits. The downside is wind protection, and it is rider dependent, so highway time can feel tiring and noisy. If you want something even more exotic and unreal when it comes alive, the next pick is expensive, sharp, and built to show off. Number 3. MV Agusta Brutale 1000RR. It shows up like a boutique supercar, all speed, yet the throttle stays precise. Against a loaded police bike, the roll-on feels unreal, and their heavy gear makes them look outdated. You get a 998cc 4 that loves revs, and the pull feels savage, electric, and vicious. The engineering is premium and detailed, and it rewards disciplined service with a support network. Seat height is about 33.3 inches, and tank is about 4.2 gallons, and real MPG runs modest and thirsty at 26 to 34. Used pricing is pricey, well cared for riders land around 15 to 19,000, and premium, pristine low-mile listings can push 24 to 27. Parts are specialty, so patience matters, and we want fresh tires and service records before we chase miles. Top speed can reach the mid-180s, but the real win is the rapid roll-on that feels effortless and dangerous if you show off. The seat can feel stiff, the posture gets tense, and long rides take planning. If that sounds like too much edge, number 2 keeps V4 Fury, but adds smart, supportive manners and a more familiar support story. Number 2, Aprilia 𝐼𝐃4 Factory. When the road clears, the response is sharp, urgent, and scary in the best way. On an open highway pull, it leaves the police Harleys looking heavy, loaded, and tired. The electronics are smart and supportive, and the chassis stays stable when the front wants to lift. It stays reliable with strict, timely service, plus a healthy battery and clean cooling habits. Engine is a 1077cc V4 with a taller perch around 33.1 inches and a sizeable tank at about 4.9 gallons. Real MPG is thirsty but realistic, usually 27 to 35, so range can swing dramatically on back roads. Used pricing can surprise. Honest riders often sit around 14 to 18,000, and premium examples climb past 20. Heat can feel brutal in traffic, and the fuel bill turns commutes into a painful grind. Ergos feel sporty, but not torture, and wind protection is smaller, so a taller screen helps on highways daily. If you want V4 madness with more street posture and less crouch, number 1 brings comfort, control, and chaos together. Quick question, which would you actually purchase with your own money, and why? Drop it in the comments today. Number 1, Ducati Streetfighter V4S. This naked machine feels like a slingshot, with comfort for real roads and a savage hit the instant we crack the throttle. On a highway roll-on, it makes a fully loaded police bike feel heavy, slower, and way behind. The heart is a 1,103 cubic centimeters V4, and the electronics keep it stable, sensible, and controlled when traction gets sketchy. Stay on the service schedule, and it can remain dependable even when we ride spirited all afternoon. Seat height sits around 33.3 inches, the tank is about 4.5 gallons, and MPG looks modest but realistic at 30 to 38. Most clean used bikes land around 19 to 24,000, while premium, pristine examples can push 26,000 and up. Tires and pads are pricey, but it stays smooth, strong, and ready when we keep up. In town, the heat can feel brutal, and the response can get stressful if we are tired or stuck in traffic. Still, the bars are friendlier than a full superbike, and the chassis stays confident when the road opens up. With a top speed, around 180 plus miles per hour, it clears the police ceiling of 137, but sobering judgment keeps it respectful and disciplined. That contrast is the point. Our picks chase performance, the machines, haul equipment, and the mission stays different. Click the next video, speed, comfort, reliable picks that keep our rides fun. Then subscribe so you do not miss